Hi everyone. For today's math video, we are learning customary units of weight. This is lesson 8.12, and the date for this journal is supposed to be April 13th, 2020. You will need these three colors out: a red, orange, a violet, and a yellow. You will also need a pencil, and you will need to rip out of your workbook page 343. Again, orange, purple, yellow, and rip out page 343 from your workbook. You can pause the video when you need to get that done. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. Today we're talking about customary units of weight. So when we talked about metric units of weight, that was the metric system in grams. But in the United States and other countries, we use customary units of weight. So we talk about ounces and pounds and tons. You've probably heard those ones a lot, ounces and pounds. And you've probably even heard a ton, like, that weighs a ton, or I have tons of homework. Well, you're about to find out that one of those statements is completely incorrect. Let's go ahead and find out what we need to know about ounces. What you need to know is their ounces are very small, and there's 16 ounces that fit in 1 pound. Ounces is abbreviated with OZ. Pounds is abbreviated with LB. So pause the video if you need to set up this chart and to write the abbreviations. Ounces, OZ, pounds, LB. What we're going to do is just show the connecting number. Okay, there are 16 ounces in a pound. So what we're going to do is go like this. And we're going to draw this arrow. And the connecting number between those is 16. So there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So I'm going to write that underneath here. 16 ounces equals 1 LB. I'm going to make that 1 look more like that, so it doesn't be confused with the L. There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So I'm going to use my arrow here to show both colors. So if I'm going from ounces into pounds, I'm going to be dividing by 16. But if I'm going from pounds into ounces, going this direction, then I'm going to be multiplying by 16. And that might seem a little confusing right now, but we're just going to remember our statements from before. Anytime you go from a small known measurement, like ounces, so if it's a smaller, I should say, known measurement, and you change it into something that is larger, so they give you ounces and they're asking for pounds, you go from smaller to larger, you're going to be dividing. Remember, Stella likes donuts. Small to large, you divide. Stella likes donuts. Small to large, you divide. And you're dividing by the connecting number. That's important to remember. And let's go opposite. Anytime you go from something that's larger in measurement into something that's smaller, you're going to do the opposite of division, which is to multiply. And what do you multiply by? The connecting number. You can always pause the video if I'm going too fast, but I'm going to keep moving on. So 16 ounces is 1 pound. So to get from ounces to pounds, the connecting number is 16. You need to now know what the connecting number is from pounds into tons. This number might surprise you. But to get from pounds into tons, or from tons into pounds, the connecting number there is 2,000. I don't even know if you can see it very well through there, but that's a 2 and a comma. 2,000 is the connecting number between pounds and tons. What that means is there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. And a ton is abbreviated with just a capital T. So there are 2,000 pounds in 1 ton. That number sometimes really surprises me because it seems like a lot. Well, it is a lot. So at the beginning of this video, we started by saying, that weighs a ton. And I also made a statement, I have tons of homework. Which one of those statements was incorrect? The second one. You don't have 2,000 pounds of homework. That doesn't make sense. But if something really does weigh a ton, you're telling me that it weighs 2,000 pounds. So when you unload groceries from the car for your parents and you're carrying them inside and you say, these groceries weigh a ton. Really? They weigh 2,000 pounds? I doubt it. So people misuse that phrase all the time, but it's kind of fun to know that 2,000 pounds is 1 ton. Okay? So if I go from, let's say I have 4,000 pounds and I want to know how many tons that is, well, I went from something smaller, like pounds, and I changed it into tons, so I would be dividing because smaller to larger, I divide. And I would divide it by 2,000 because that is the connecting number. Okay, we need to know one more connecting number, and I want to see if you can figure it out. I need to know how many ounces then are in a ton. Wow, that arrow is going to go like this. Clear across. That's my question to you. How many ounces are there in a ton? Now I can give you the number because I have it memorized, and you're going to eventually have it memorized. But I would be curious to see if you could use your brain to figure out how many ounces would there really be in 1 ton. What could you use to figure this out? How many ounces are in a ton? Well, I know how many ounces are in a pound, and I know how many pounds are in 1 ton. So I can use those numbers to my advantage to figure it out. So if you were guessing that you take 16 times 2,000, you would be correct. That is how you figure that out. So think through that for just a minute. I'm going to bold this 16. How can you do 16 times 2,000? Well, it can be mental math because you can do 16 times 2 and then attach the 3 zeros at the end. And 16 times 2 is 32. And then I'm going to attach the 3 zeros. So there are 32,000 ounces in a ton. So I don't want that to be confusing. So there are 32 ounces in a ton. Don't think 32 pounds. It's just the connecting number between those two. Maybe we should half circle all of these in those colors. Half circle purple, half circle orange, purple and yellow. Just remember that it's a connecting number, okay? So let's go ahead and write that. We already wrote the pounds into tons, so now we need to do, there are 32,000 ounces in 1 ton. So that is the information that you need to know, all of these connecting numbers, and you need to remember to go from something smaller to larger, you divide by the connecting number, and to go from something larger to smaller, the opposite, you're going to multiply. So this is just like doing the conversions that we've done before, only you need to know exactly what the connecting numbers are. And this information right here tells us what the connecting numbers are. Go ahead and look at the next video to find out some practice problems, and we'll write some quick steps down.